Will someone pull an East worst to first style turnaround? I'm talking like '07 Celtics to '08 Celtics. They win 24 games and then they win the championship because Brian Windhorst on Hoop Collective reported that the Raptors are looking for a big finish. And they won 30 games this past season. They weren't very good. They're a young team. And let's be honest here, like they're talking about Giannis. That's who the Raptors are thinking about here. Like Windy did not explicitly say it was Giannis, but it's Giannis. Masai Ujiri tried like hell to trade out for Giannis way back in the 2013 NBA draft. There's literal documentary footage of him talking to Oklahoma City for the number 12 pick to trade up for Giannis. There's evidence of him. This isn't like a team in the past where it's like, oh, we love that guy. We would have taken him. No, Masai wanted Giannis, and he was doing everything he could to go out and get him. Now, we've seen a turnaround like this before. The '07-08 Celtics, they stunk. They lost 19 games in a row. Paul Pierce got hurt midseason. Tony Allen tore his ACL back in '07. The team was bad. Pierce looked like he was going to demand a trade after the Celtics fell from number 2 draft odds down to number 5. And then poof, Danny Ainge trades for Ray Allen with the number 5 pick. And a couple of weeks later, he goes and gets Kevin Garnett. And a year later, they win the NBA Finals. It's like one of the greatest turnarounds ever. But what we forget from that year is how bad the East was. '06-07, the Eastern Conference standings that year, only 2 teams had over 50 wins. The Pistons were near the end of their run. The Cavs had a young LeBron. They make the finals. They get smoked by the Spurs. Other than that, it was a bunch of playoff filler, doormats, like bad teams that are easy wins you can check off on the schedule. The East was wide open for the taking at that time in NBA history. Fast forward to today, kind of the same thing. I mean, I know you have the Pacers in the finals. They're really good. They don't seem like they're going anywhere. The Knicks are still really good. The Cavs are still really good. But Bucks could possibly be trading Giannis. They're an old team anyway, even if they were to keep him. The Celtics, possibly no Tatum all of next year. The Pacers, they're great. The Cavs can be great. The Knicks, we'll see. But they're not juggernauts. They're not unbeatable teams. The East is wide open to at least become a 4 seed, maybe a 5 seed, and if not the 1 seed. So I think you can make the argument for the Raptors, the Wizards, the Hornets, the Sixers, the Nets, like these teams, the 5 teams that missed the playoffs to go all in. But the argument is obviously stronger for some of them more than the others because you need 5 ingredients for a worst to first turnaround. And I think Boston showed this off years ago. You need draft capital. That goes without saying. You got to have tradable picks, preferably picks from another team, because if you're getting star players, nobody's going to want your picks. You need valued youth. You need young guys that have value, that have shown something to another team to have a belief in them as a return for a proven star player. You need a ready core. The Celtics in '07 still had Paul Pierce. They still had an all-NBA, all-star caliber player, somebody that was a draw to other stars, a belief that he's somebody worth building around. They need a core. You need cap flexibility. You need tradable contracts, or you need cap space. You got to have the ability to actually make a deal. And 5, most of all, you need incentive. This is most important because is your franchise under pressure? Is your star going to demand a trade if you don't get somebody else? Is it a new owner? Is there a reason for you to accelerate? Do you have like everything on your team except for the star player? And so I think if you look at the 5 teams that have missed the playoffs this past year, the Wizards, they have no incentive. The core is nowhere near ready. To me, I don't think they're a team that should or would actually try to go from worst to first. The Sixers, their circumstances are a little different here, so it doesn't totally apply to them. They traded for George already last year. Obviously, Embiid missed a lot of time. They have the number 3 pick. The only question now is, would they flip George? Would they trade the number 3 pick? And I'd say yes, they have incentive. They have the core. Yes, they're a worst to first style team for sure. The Nets, they have 2 guys under contracts. They have nobody on that team. They have a ton of cap space. They can do whatever they want. But where's the incentive? They already screwed up in the past. They already tried to go too fast getting KD and Kyrie. I don't totally see the Nets as a team. To me, I think they're going to build more slow here. The Hornets, they're interesting. They have 10 future firsts. They have 11 future seconds. They have a ton of youth on their team, good youth. They have tradable salaries. LaMelo's a former all-star. I know he's always hurt, but he is an all-star caliber player. He is nearing the prime of his career. They have new owners. They have a new front office. There is incentive. The Hornets quietly, to me, if they wanted to, trade the number 4 pick for your first star, and then trade some young guys and a bunch of future picks for your second star, pair them with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. Like, something could happen in Charlotte if they wanted it to happen. They're an interesting team that I think is similar to the Raptors, who everybody, of course, is talking about now. They have their own picks. They have good young players. They have tradable contracts. They have incentive. They're stuck in the middle. Masai has only 1 year left on his deal. They're under intense pressure to win. I already reported last week ahead of the Windy report that the Raptors were leaning towards an older, more proven player who can help early in the draft with the number 9 picks. So I do believe the Raptors are a threat to make moves here because they meet those requirements, the ingredients to be a worst to first turnaround team. And plus, we saw them do this with Kawhi. There's a history here. They went for Kawhi, traded DeMar DeRozan, even though he was only 1 year with him. So you talk to people around the NBA, teams are thinking about it. Can somebody be like the 07 to 08 Celtics and go from worst to first? Stars have to become available, though. And that leads me to the next question on my mind. Which stars are going to become available? My top 10 trade targets, Giannis obviously would be number 1 on this list. KD from Phoenix, obviously number 2. Jaylen Brown, a big theoretical here. I'd have number 3. Jaylen Brown, you'd have to make a enormous offer to the Boston Celtics. Same thing for Derek White on the next line for kind of these potential trade targets to go for. Kawhi Leonard, why not? Like, screw it. Maybe you get healthy Kawhi for 1 year as a piece for your team. Bam Adebayo, I don't think the Heat are going to trade him, but why not make a phone call? Maybe you go over the top. This is what I'm saying for some of these teams that you just pick up the phone. You just got to pick up the phone and making offers. If you go over the top, maybe you give yourself a chance to get these guys. Trey Murphy, same thing. Larry Markkinen, he's now trade eligible. Desmond Bane in Memphis. Austin Reeves with the Lakers, if they didn't want him as that third piece, if they prefer somebody else who doesn't handle as much, somebody to better fit Luka, offer more defense. These are the guys I'd be going for if you're one of those teams that wants to go from worst to first or from the middle to closer to the top. And I think for, Boston, you could see them go either way, though. I wouldn't totally rule out Tatum returning in February or March. And so with Boston, I'm not so certain they'd actually trade Jaylen Brown or Derek White, but it's worth making a call anyway. And you might have to go over the top, though, and maybe a team would.